A related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Would you love to deepen your spiritual connection and create a conscious shift in your life? Do you seek answer to human experience? Well, welcome to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. It's a 2.5-hour safe haven for your questions and Spirit's answers. And you can transform your life right now on VCMG in South Florida. Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium who can assist you to connect the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all possible experience and knowledge. For the next 2.5 hours, listen and call in toll-free 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube and share love and light.
Yes, indeed. There's a light right here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah all across the nation. And we're welcoming your calls at 866-972-7247. So glad to be here with all of you tonight. Tonight's the night. We're going to dig deep. We're going to go down within the essence of your soul. Your soul, I say. Yes, that soul that brought you here. The soul that's programmed to have a mission. A mission to complete certain tasks, lessons, meet certain people. When we go to commercial, you always hear us play this song, Do you know me? Do I know you? I think we met before. It's about two souls that meet and the journey of that connection and what brought them together. You see, everything is a part of a plan, a divine plan, a connection, something that is intended to happen as it is meant to be. So I say to you this, step into your heart and realize that everything is coming together perfectly. And you've got the power. You've got the essence inside of you to complete and do it all. I believe that each one of you has a deeper part of your being that you still have yet to tap into. And when you tap into that being, it is the way that we open up to new creations of new ideas that express you in this physical realization. You have the power to open up and to shift your own consciousness, shift your reality. You can do anything you set your mind to. But the mind has been conditioned to think it's not possible, or, you're not this magical being, but you are. And your soul holds the key, the code to the whole entire storyline. And the storyline that is within you is who are you going to meet along the way? It's much like, and I love this show. I see it as the musical, but I love this storyline, the show, The Wizard of Oz. And the reason why I love it is one of the greatest explorations in the human experience of the spirit, and that we have all the tools we need within ourselves, right? When Dorothy came home, she realized everything she had was in her own backyard. But she will meet certain people along the way that she needs to form a friendship with. That will be a piece of the puzzle that she has to help and they have to help her. And everyone in your path is there for a reason. Even that person that maybe you're not too fond of. Even that person who broke your heart. Even that soul family of your family unit that you don't like. Because maybe there's history between you and family members. That's there for a reason. And everything is an experience that's meant to give you the opportunity to grow, to expand, to connect deep within and recognize that you have the power. And that the most important thing is that you learn to love yourself and see the light within you. And then use that light as a frequency of transformation all around you to create an experience that is in alignment with love. I was talking with one of my longtime clients, lovely person, and she and I were talking about self-love and the dynamics of a relationship. And Spirit was very clear that she needs to not take all the blame for everything that's going wrong in this experience. She needs to stand up for who she is and know that she's perfect and fine the way she is. Now, that doesn't mean she functions perfectly all the time. That doesn't mean she's not part of a story of a relationship, but that she is worthy of love. And just because maybe in an early formative year she became conditioned to believe that she was more the problem than anything, and so she just took responsibility for many things that went on in her life, Maybe now it's about her learning to love herself and see that the person who's with her now is not just her person, the one she loves, but in these times of struggle and maybe possibly being out of sync, it's so that both of them can grow. And he can make adjustments in his way of handling things, and she can embrace her own beauty, her own light, her own love. She has an opportunity to grow as a person and as a spiritual being. You see, some of our most intricate relationships, the ones that challenge us, the ones that make you want to scream sometimes, those are the relationships that are here for you to check yourself, here for you to take a look at who you are and why you're feeling this way and where did this come from, and to heal. You see, the soul is this continuum of time that, I don't know, I see it in the energy and it just dances and it travels from lifetimes to lifetimes, trying to be the best it can be. And it meets its challenges and its struggles. And it yearns for love. Because it was born of love. It came from the essence of love, the divine, supreme, creative being. And each lifetime, each experience is so dense and heavy, and it is surrounded by people who can love and those who say they love but cannot. And there's this dance of feeling comfortable and safe and then uncomfortability, feeling supported and then perhaps betrayal. And there's this cycle that we go through. I'm sure many of you have experienced that. You're no sooner flying higher than a kite. Next thing you know, you're feeling lower than a pig in a poke. How did that happen? How did you get from being on the top of the world to everything crumbling down? And what's the lesson? And what kind of angels and God would let that happen? Or did you attract something that was built on sand and maybe you didn't put the right energy into it, or maybe part of you sabotaged it? Or maybe you let someone else run you over and take credit for your blessings, and now it's just all crumbling because you didn't draw the healthy line in this soul connection and say, no, I created that. That's part of the blessings that I have. That's part of the energy that God gave me, and this is what I am destined to do. And you let somebody rip it away from you. You know, there are many people who perhaps they grow up in a family that the parents don't believe in what they would like to be. The child says, I would like to be this, but the parents do not believe. And they make a person feel like they're not good enough or smart enough, right? And this happens, right? And we've talked about this so many times on the show. But those people in your life, those parents or siblings or relatives, they didn't just happen. You're not just some little seed that got fertilized and oops, we picked the wrong parents. It doesn't work that way. I know sometimes we'd love to think that, like, all right, how did I end up with this family? Because this is the wacky family. They're just out of their minds, right? And you'd say, oh, I'd feel so much better knowing that I didn't pick this. But it's part of a divine plan, and it is a plan. And so you have a dream inside of you, and now you're being challenged as you grow up that you're not smart enough or good enough, or that's not really what's meant for you, and you need to stay in this lane because that's what's cut for you. But inside, there's this pull inside of you that says, hey, I know I'm meant to do this. I know that I'm being called to be a certain way in my life. But everyone around me that I trust and I know and are my role models are telling me that's not so, and maybe even angrily so, and being disgruntled about all the efforts that I make and not supporting me, and I feel alone. But inside, you still know you're supposed to do what you're called to do. So how does that happen? How do you get from that environment to where you ultimately are meant to be? Well, there comes a moment in time, and I know this moment well, where you just have to put your foot down. And there's a push inside of you. And that push inside of you says, now you're not going to take it anymore. Now you know what you're called to do, and you're going to just do it. And some of us adopt this sense, this feeling of, well, I'm going to prove them wrong. Well, that's sheer will. That's our personality. And sometimes we need that little push, that indignation that says, hey, I'm going to do it anyhow. Watch me. I'm going to show you. Many of us have had that feeling. And that might be enough to get you out of the gate. But it is not enough to win the race. Because in order to win the race, you've got to feel it in the core of your being. You've got to know in every moment and being of your essence that you are meant to do what you choose to do. Now you may say, I'm meant to do this, but I don't have the money to invest, or I don't have the money to pay for school. I don't have, and we'll go through the list of all the things we do not have. And in the physical world, that may be true. And possibly at the moment in your life that you do not have that may just mean that we have to dig deeper, look for other resources, and pace ourselves differently, knowing that the universe will open the door to give us all that we require to accomplish our soul's mission at the perfect time. And sometimes the realization of this is what I'm meant to do, and this is how I'm going to buck the system of all the conflict and the issues that I've had trying to be my most authentic soul self, and all these people who have been my tests and my lessons, I'm going to stand on the highest mountain and I'm going to go for it. Sometimes when you have that realization, it does not always line up with all the things that are necessary. And then we have to practice the part that is really difficult for us humans. Patience, temperance, being still, but still knowing what we know and not giving up. Not surrendering because things don't fall into place. Just knowing what we know in the moment of now and not allowing everything that's around us to get in the way. You have that power. It's a discipline at times. But people come to you in your life because they have something to give you, or you have something to give them. You know, as I was preparing for this show, and we talk about soul contracts, and I have so much to say on this topic tonight, so I hope you stay with us throughout the show. I was reminded of a conversation I had. And many of you know a lot of the backstory, but when I was in Mary Kay Cosmetics and I loved what I did, I was, part of the family business a bit. My father was in the restaurant business. He was a country club manager and then always had businesses of restaurants that he would have at any given time throughout his career. And then inevitably, I'd always be called to participate in different things. But because I had been in Mary Kay for a very long time and I was a senior director, there really wasn't much time for that. Well, my father had a dream, an idea that when he retired from being a country club manager in Purchase, New York, at the Old Oaks Country Club in Westchester, New York, right? Purchase, New York, he decided he wanted to be a part of this project and build up this country club in Parsippany, New Jersey, and own the rights to the catering for 2 of the buildings and the snack bars for the golfers. It had a private golf course, and it also had a public golf course. So it was quite the big undertaking. And he had began this before he retired. And then it came time for things to get underway. And there was that phone call. You know, when your Greek father calls and says, "Hello, you got to do something for me." I'm like, "What's that?" "You got to move." "Move where?" "You got to go to New Jersey." I'm like, "Well, I'm in New York, upstate New York. I like it just fine." "Okay, but you're going to New Jersey." I'm like, "What?" You know, and I'm like, "All right, what?" And so there was this whole conversation, and I got pulled to New Jersey. And I don't think I really wanted to go. But I had this weird feeling like it was going to be a really bad time. I didn't know anything about my gifts then. I was minding my business, dealing with lipstick, cosmetics, driving a pink Cadillac. I didn't know anything about spirituality. But I just had this sinking feeling, but I went. I moved. I remember it was winter. I moved. I just couldn't shake the feeling. And, you know, I still got to do my job. I didn't leave what I was doing with Mary Kay. It kind of changed how I worked a bit. But I remember standing with my father several months in. I remember it was the month of July, exactly this time of year. And I remember saying to him, well, I didn't want to move here anyhow. We were having a conversation, and I just blurted that out. And then, of course, conveniently, he forgets, like, well, I didn't tell you to move here. I'm like, okay, obviously you didn't remember the Greek orders that were handed down, but okay. And so we had the conversation. It wasn't a bad conversation. It was just a conversation. But there was a feeling that I didn't want to be there, but I knew I had to be there. It was this really weird feeling. And I couldn't. And I think many of you can relate to times when you're doing something and you don't really want to do it, but you know for some reason you've got to show up for this, right? And you're showing up. That was in July. And by November of that year, my father was dead. And really, it was a matter of end of October, first week in November, and in 3 weeks he was gone. He hit his leg. Turned out there was leukemia. You hear people have leukemia, you think they're going to be around for a while, and in 3 weeks, poof, he was gone. And I'm like, all right, I knew this wasn't going to be good. And it was just this really sinking feeling. And of course, there were many changes that had to be made with the business, and it just became very complicated. And I'm thinking, oh boy, so now I'm grieving my father. And at that time, I'm also pregnant. So I'm pregnant with my son. It's just a mess, a hot mess. I'm like, okay, well, we're here. We're going to figure this out. And so I began to enmesh myself in the community. And it was in that community, his club was associated with Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey, but adjacent to that was Parsippany, New Jersey, for those of you who listen in other states. And guess what? I'm in a computer store. I'm doing some per diem work for them, helping them set up their training program. And those of you who have studied with me, taken my classes, that's where I met my spiritual teacher. And that was the major soul contract that had to be fulfilled. And the only way to get me to that soul contract was for me to have all these other soul contracts with my parents and to be born of the people that I was born of, and a father who was in the restaurant business. You see how everything was pushing to get me to where I needed to be so that something else could happen for my soul. Because nowhere in my upbringing, nowhere in what I experienced would I ever have landed here. Could have I landed on the radio because of my show business background and entertainment? Sure, I could have. Or on a television somewhere? Sure, I could have. But that business industry seemed rather difficult and shallow in its approach. And as much as I love that, there was a lot of compromises you have to make within yourself that I was not prepared to do. So I performed when I performed, but when things looked like they were getting weird, this girl was out. I was not going to go there and participate in all the craziness. So I found other ways to fulfill my dreams and always wanting to help other people. and they all felt good, maybe not good enough. So I ask you, what have you done in your life that you feel has been purposeful? And maybe people have helped you get there or were catalysts for change. But then you still feel like there's more. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's more. And even with that young couple that I was talking about a few minutes ago, are they the catalyst to get each other to learn the most they can? Are they the catalyst to get each other to grow individually and then as a unit? Or to just learn the lessons that they're meant to learn and then go their separate ways? You see, as humans, we don't always like to hear that part of go their separate ways. Now, I'm not saying that's my prediction for their story by any means. But there will come times in your life that people will come in your life and you feel so connected to them and they're here for a reason. And often when it's boy meets girl, girl meets boy, we think it's for romance. And then it turns out it's for a whole nother reason. And it's just literally for them to move you down the path of life so that you end up in front of the right people so that you can get connected to what God has for you and what your soul is calling you to do. And some of these relationships are karmic and complicated. And, well, we're going to hold that thought because I need to go to commercial. And when we come back, I'm going to continue the conversation with you. And then, of course, we're going to go to our phone lines at 866-972-7247. We're going to explore this some more, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear your questions. Perhaps you've got a karmic entanglement that we need to disentangle and figure out what the heck is going on. So stay with us. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. That's me right here on the True Oldie Station. We'll be right back. Upon me, and there's a light that brightens up my day. There's a light leading the way. Oh, there's a light. There's a light. There's a light that opens doors for everyone. Oh, there's a light that touches hearts. There's a light to open everyone to love. Love may hold the answer we are looking for. Love may open up another door of light.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WDJA AM Delray Beach and in Martin County on 1450 WSTU Stewart. We are South Florida's home for the True Oldies Channel.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
This show is furnished by Sarah Spiritual.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome back to the next 2 hours of Spiritually Speaking with Sarah as we continue our uplifting and empowering spiritual discussions to transform your life. A gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium, Sarah Spiritual will assist you to connect to the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all experience and knowledge. We have another 2 hours to listen and call in 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can share the love and light.
Right here, opening up in front of everyone right here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. And we are so glad to have you joining us here this Wednesday night. I don't even know what show number we're up to. 800 and something? I don't know. Someone will tell me. I just show up here every Wednesday night. We are over 17 years hanging out with all of you. And what a journey it's been talking to all of you. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't listen to my soul contract. But I'm on show 820. See, they know what they're talking about. So 820 live shows with all of you. And I wouldn't be here if I hadn't met some of the people I met along the way. And I'm not just talking my spiritual teacher. I could rewind the tape and talk about all the things that didn't work out the way I hoped they'd work out, that then forced me to go into a different direction, that would force you to go in a different direction, so that you could be on the path of life. So I reach so many different people. And sometimes I know we got our hands in our head and we're like, why me? Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I struggling like this? I can't seem to catch a break. I'm stuck. I'm feeling defeated. My world feels like it's crumbling. I thought I had my life all figured out. It's been the certain way for X amount of years. And now the rug is pulled out and I don't know what I'm going to do. Everything's crumbling down. And we've all had those feelings. And it is an awful feeling. And we have to acknowledge that feeling. And sometimes it's because we didn't choose the right person in the beginning of the story. Sometimes it's that you were the right people for each other at that moment because you were at the same frequency. One of you started to grow spiritually or emotionally. The other didn't, or one kind of fell and began to not hold the values that they should, and the relationship fell apart. Or you're at a company for a while and now they change the people in the company and the climate, the environment, the atmosphere of the workplace is horrible, right? And suddenly you, the most loyal employee or the person they're attacking the most, and you're being pushed out the door. How is that fair? It really isn't fair. But one thing I know for sure is that things change. Things that have been in place for many years. I mean, look at the businesses that are been in place for so many years, and all of a sudden you're hearing about this business close and that business close. Because the world is changing. And it has challenges. But challenges force you to go inside and say, what does this challenge, this change bring to me? What does this offer me? Does it bring me enough power to see things through a different lens? Does it give me this strength to finally make the change? Maybe I was holding on to something too long. Maybe I needed to let go. But something had to be the catalyst for change because I wasn't getting the clues from the universe. But then when everything comes crumbling down, of course, we're like, oh my God, I'm the victim. It's horrible. And yes, you feel that way. And I'll never minimize anyone's feelings. But when you see things through the outside lens, as I am blessed to, I feel your pain. I see your pain. I see the struggle. I've had my own. I've felt my own pain. I've seen my own struggles. I know what I have to navigate. So I put my shoes on one foot at a time, just like all of you. But I know that all of this is part of a bigger plan. Sometimes it's to break your beliefs around money so that you can learn to generate more money and create more abundance and shift how you view money and let go of that belief of lack or not good enough or not worthiness. Maybe there's a family lineage of many of you being tied to some kind of bondage with money and just feeling like we can never get past a certain amount of money or level in society, right? Which all is a crock of bananas, okay? Really? Does it really matter? It's all a game. The sooner you all realize that a lot of the things that go on in the world, it's a game. And you're part of the game. And so we have to maneuver and play the game. But we have to find out what our role is in the game, because our role is about how we learn to love ourselves and how we find ourselves and how we take our energy and our love and we learn to use it to transcend difficult times, and how we use our inner power, our God-given power, the light you have inside, to circumvent these obstacles so that you could get to where you're meant to be or who you're meant to be with. You know, I've known people who are married. Sometimes some have met several times before they finally met the person. But they had to get through all those people to move several times physically, state to state, to end up in the right state to be with the right person. I know people who have been married forever, and all of a sudden, poof, it's not working anymore. And of course, that doesn't happen overnight, and we all can realize that, but then it's bam, time for change. And both people are usually very upset in one way or another. Some feel like they've wasted time, they lost time, and now they have to be free right now. And others feel like, oh my God, I never saw this coming. And so both people are going through that hurt. And it's very devastating. Or sometimes there's a soul contract where you think you have everything intact and everything's great, and unexpectedly someone passes. That's always the gut punch. Sometimes we don't see that coming. And now they're not here. And how are we going to survive? Like, I never imagined that at a young age, my father was young when he passed, he would have passed. It just wasn't in my thought process. And I think when you're growing up, you kind of think, your parents are going to be here forever. There's kind of that mindset. Then when you see them age, then I guess you come to realization like, oh, okay, they're getting older. But you just don't think the rug's going to get pulled out from under you. Even if someone has a disease, we hear other people's stories, so you assume, oh, they've got some time. And when they don't get that same time, and why did that happen? Like, what was that soul contract about? It becomes interesting. Like, why do all these things happen the way they happen? And some are patterns in families. I was sharing with someone the other day. We were talking about generations, generational curses. We were talking about the contracts between families and fathers and sons and the males in the family. There are soul contracts of things that need to be fulfilled in the experience of these souls. And so you may find that a particular family may have the male in the family pass at a very young age, and it seems to pass down through many generations. And then finally, there's a soul that comes in, and they're like, oh, my father died at this age, and whatever that age was, and they're like, oh my God, I passed that. And it's like, oh my God. Well, we sometimes become this self-fulfilling prophecy because we look at that history and we say, oh my goodness, that could happen to me. And so, yes, maybe we become a little more mindful of our physicality and taking care of ourselves, but it doesn't have to be your soul contract. But for those few souls, that was their contract. To come into the earth, be here for a while, and then leave. And those people in your life, and some of you maybe have many, but those people in your life who have brought you to your knees, you know those people. That experience that made you so upset, filled with despair, hopelessness. Those people, there's a soul contract there too. And you're like, well, I didn't deserve that. Maybe in this lifetime you didn't. But chances are you knew their soul before. And I'm not calling it a tally of tit for tat, but they're bringing back to you something that you needed to experience and feel. And they may be the vessel that brings that. It may not be that exact soul. You could have had a lifetime where you were cruel and demeaning to other people. Maybe you betrayed other people or stole their money in other lifetimes. Maybe there were many things that you did, right? We've all done something in a lifetime. So don't run around and think that, I could never have done that in any lifetime. You don't know what your soul had to learn in the past lifetime. So if you had to learn something in a past lifetime, and it had to involve you being the lesser person, the more diabolical person, then guess what? That's what you lived. And so if this lifetime you've had a lot of people turn on you, maybe you attracted some of the wrong people because you didn't feel like you were worthy of having people who supported you and believed in you, and that's an emotional growth spurt, and we need to learn to love ourselves. But also another component can be that in another life, way back when, maybe 3 lifetimes ago, you weren't the best person. And now you need to feel what it feels like to be devastated. And it's just an exchange of energy. I assure you it's not God punishing anybody. Sometimes people say to me, why does God let bad things happen to good people? Well, God doesn't make them happen. many things that happen to us are just a product of a series of choices and things that we didn't do or did that brought us to where we are. And God's hand is on everything, even that which we perceive as evil. God is always governing you, and your angels are always protecting you. And your guardian angel knows the whole entire story. They know what you signed up for. Your spirit guides know. You know, I often laugh, and I'm sure my spirit guides, I make them crazy. They must be like, oh, good Lord, she's got another crazy idea, and here she goes. And they just have to, well, they have to put up with me, right? But they bring me information every day. We work together. We're very good at working together, me and my spirit guides. But I'm sure some days they're like, oh, God, what is she thinking? Like, all right, let's see, Sarah Spiritual, how you get yourself out of this, right? And they've supported me. And their mission has been, and I'm sure I've been a special project for them at times, especially getting me to where I am now. I've had the center this year for 20 years. We've been here on the radio for over 17. But it doesn't mean every day I made life easy for my spirit guides. They're like, all right, get her up out of the corner. Get her up. She's got to get moving. Right? So you need to ask for help. One time my spirit guides were so bummed with me, upset with me. They're like, you know, you just think you can do everything. You need to ask us to help you. And it took a lot for me to realize that, especially new on this journey, that I had to ask for help and that they would come to help me or put the right opportunity in front of me or open a door for me or just make me feel better or have a sense of peace. Or watch me struggle for a while and then in the last second, poof, help it get better. You have to ask for help. We're so rooted in this physical world, my friends, that we are not looking for the guidance that is available to us every day. And there is a guidance that is here for all of you. And I want all of you to embrace it. Well, I'm so glad you're joining us here tonight. And I welcome your phone calls. We have to get to the phone lines right now at 866-972-7247. We also have to pop into our friends on Facebook and YouTube. So put your questions in the feed. We're going to get to you as well. And tonight I'm going to start with a caller in Port St. Lucie. I have Taylor on the phone in Port St. Lucie. Taylor, how are you tonight? Good to connect with you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly, Taylor. Good to connect with you.
Thank you. Great to connect with you, too.
It's a beautiful time for you here as we pave the way of a new beginning, a fresh start. I kind of look back at your 2025, and I feel like perhaps you felt a little challenged and a little out of sorts at points in your 2025. Does that resonate with you, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And so now when we move you into this 2026, you're coming out of the fog. You're coming out of the mud. It's like, there's that song I hear, I'm coming out. I want the world to know, right? So you're coming out, you're opening up to new beginnings, fresh starts. I feel opportunities in business and connections. And I also feel that you too are very gifted and spiritually connected and also looking to be of service to others in some way that brings you joy. Is that also correct?
That is true.
Taylor,
yes.
What is your question for me here tonight?
Oh, my question is, I have had challenges with getting over a money ceiling. Every time I make a lot, then I either lose it or give it away or something happens. And my goal is to get over that money ceiling and put that behind me. So how can I do that?
Great question, and I'm sure your question is valid for many people, that we hit a ceiling, and it's, am I worthy of this wealth? Am I worthy of this? And the statement to self is, I am worthy of abundance, and the abundance that flows to me with ease and grace, I am able to manifest more whenever I release it. And I'm also blessed with a spirit of discernment, to know that the blessings that have been given to me are for me, and that at times from my heart I may choose to do for another. But I always sustain and maintain the gratitude for my blessing, knowing that what I have is for me to progress in this lifetime, for I have asked for that. And this is something that I am choosing to embrace, my ability to transcend my belief in money and abundance. So very often we have our personality and our emotional feelings or our need to please find ourselves doing for other people. And we figure, well, let me help them. But people are where they are because, well, that's where they are. And they're there by their series of choices. And there are people who are always in a particular mess at a particular time. And you'll sit there and go, but that's their pattern. So why this time are you going to be the one who's going to help them to break out of a pattern when they're not capable of it, you see? And then you're keeping yourself trapped in your pattern.
Yes.
There's a line that says, lay not thy hand suddenly, lest thou partake of thy neighbor's sin. And sometimes God has people where they are for a reason. And they're meant to learn and suffer through that. Not that God wants to see us suffer, but they've got to learn how to break their own cycle as you are learning to break your cycle. And then of your personality and your kindness and your humanness, you say, oh, let me fix this for them. But if we sat with the spirit of discernment and we prayed on it, chances are you'd hear the whisper say, well, you could buy them a sandwich or you could get them some groceries, but we do not go past that. And I'm sure that something like that would not disrupt your flow of abundance. Rather, at other times, you've basically handed over quite a bit to help someone else. You cannot fill another's cup if yours is not completely full. And here God is trying to fill your cup financially, and you're poking holes in your very own cup. There is a statement for you to say, I am worthy of abundance beyond measure. Abundance is my birthright. It flows to me with ease and grace. I am in the frequency of abundance. And as I reside in this frequency, I build momentum and always attracting more abundant opportunities, not just limited to money, but to experiences that fulfill me and open new doors of possibilities. I am the woman who is powerful, and I have a healthy flow in the abundant way. This is how we talk to self. And if you go back to this recording, you can then take these notes on what we're sharing with you and create your own mantra to say daily so that you can begin to program the frequency around you so that you can have success.
Thank you.
Great line of questioning, Taylor. We appreciate your input.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome, Taylor. Pleasure having you.
Okay.
Bye for now. Bye.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye.
866-972-7247. We got to go from Port St. Lucie. We're going to pop into Broward County. If you'd like to pick up the phone and join us, go join us at 866-972-7247. But I got to talk to Deshaun. Deshaun is hanging out in Broward County, and, well, from what I remember, we got a few things popping around, and I'm sure Deshaun's wondering, how do I get myself into this mess? Deshaun, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, yourself.
I'm doing well, Deshaun. Good to connect with you. What is the question for me right now tonight?
I want to know how, what the next, I would say, 60 days look for me.
Do we have a date to show up for a, I guess a court date is what I guess I'll use. I'll use that word. Do we have a date coming up, please?
Yes. September 25th, I believe.
Okay. And is this just a show up check-in, or is this an actual, we begin a proceeding, please?
It's supposed to be a calendar call.
Calendar call. Okay, great. And I think we talked about this before, that I don't see anything really moving and happening, calendar call, but I still feel like everybody's trying to get all their ducks in a row. Your side, the other side, I don't feel like they have everything they need to really present the way they want. And granted, we know that it's a tough situation. Spirit is aware of that, and we know that There possibly could be a repercussion, but as Spirit says, it's in God's divine time, and just trust that the timing moves forward in a very slow manner so that things can maybe work in your favor, so that we never actually make it to an official process in front of the courts, right? That would be the perfect outcome of all of this, right? That something, there might be that something has to come of this, only given the situation, but it doesn't have to be quite such a big show, right? And that's what we're praying for, and that's what you go to Archangel Michael and ask Archangel Michael to assist you with. I really feel that they're taking me to October, end of October, so there may be some movement towards that as far as some big next step. And so what we want to do is be prepared with, what are you willing to do to make the other people feel on the other side of the legal spectrum feel satisfied that you're doing something, right? So whatever deal we may have to come up with, I encourage you and your attorney to see what those possibilities are. If you're feeling that we don't have enough reasonable doubt as to how this all unfolded, okay? So, and that's where you have to work with your attorney to see where they have the window of, oh, this is a really great opportunity to create reasonable doubt because this, and this happened at that same time, which justifies why you may have been where you were doing what you were doing, okay? So there's a whole big story there, kind of a little, convoluted on radio as I answer your question, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. And just work on that position so that you're prepared. So if they say, hey, we want to move forward, you could say, hey, what if we do this? Right? So that's a strategy with you and your attorney. All right? All right, Deshaun.
Okay,
we're glad you checked in with us. All right, keep us posted. And when you can, pop on up to the Expedito Enlightenment Center so in a personal session we can discuss some of the particulars that maybe I do not want to share on national radio. All right. Thank you so much for your call. Bye for now. 866-972-7247. We're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors. And then when we come back, we've got a pop all around the state of Florida. And if you're listening outside of Florida, then pick up the phone and join us for this conversation. We're going to also visit our friends, our great friends on Facebook and YouTube. So stay with us. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. And that's me, Sarah Spiritual. Stay with us. We'll be right back. In the room before I walk through the door, do you know me? Have you heard me? Have you seen me? Do you know my voice?
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
You are listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual, at 866-9-SARAHS. That's toll free, 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
Because you know that you know me, I am Sarah Spiritual, and you're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah all across the nation on the True Oldies station. So glad to have you joining us here tonight. 820 live shows. We've been hanging out since 2009, so if you're just finding us, welcome to the club, because we have some good conversations here, and I love talking to my friends and on Facebook and YouTube and all of our callers. And you've been following the show, you'll know that we've had some people calling in since 2009. And I don't know, some days it's kind of like a soap opera because you're like, what's going to happen next in so-and-so's life? So there are moments of that, but there's also some really good times that we have exploring some of life's deep questions and some of the pickles we get ourselves into as humans, because some days we're all a hot mess. And I don't know, I guess I should start to call myself the hot mess specialist, because we're here to fix your hot mess and get you out of it and have your spirit guides help you, and, you know, Archangel Michael to the rescue, and off we go. So we're here to assist you on this journey of life. We've got some cool things going on at the Expedito Enlightenment Center. We've got some specials right now. And then our classes will be starting in a few weeks. But our first special is we've got our Mercury retrograde goodies. We have our Mercury retrograde candle. You know, Mercury retrograde's been kicking some people's butts around. This has been a rough Mercury retrograde. I've heard some of the crazy stories you could ever imagine. I myself have a few crazy stories for Mercury retrograde this time around. But we've got a candle, we've got an oil, we've got products that you can use to mitigate, neutralize the energy of Mercury retrograde. We've got a little more time. Mercury doesn't come out of retrograde till somewhere in the July 20-something. So I always tell people, don't expect things to get better till like around July 25th. I know it comes out a little before then, but guess what? It's still this upside down energy. So contracts, negotiations, communication. If you're finding it challenging to be with your partner, could we just zip it for another couple of weeks before we say and do things that could blow the whole thing up? And we also have our mid-year session available. This is where we take a pulse. It's like the doctor's in the house and we're taking a spiritual pulse to find out, your spiritual checkup. What's happening with you now that we are mid-year to the end of 2026, closing in to the end of the year, and we want to make sure you're on track. Want to check your vitals. Are you doing all the things that Spirit wants you to do to get you to where you need to be? And does Spirit have some tips and tricks for you to participate in so that you can accomplish your dreams and desires? And maybe they've got some counseling because you aren't doing what you're supposed to do, and we've got to get you on track. And they're here to give you that inspiration you need to come into the end of 2026 sparkling like the true spiritual diamond that you are. Go to sarahspiritual.com. That's where you'll find all the information on that session and many others. And we also have our new moon collection. So if you didn't light a candle, write your intentions for the new moon. Now's the time to do it. We've got that available at Sarah Spiritual as well. And you can also pop into the Expedito Enlightenment Center. That is my metaphysical store that is in West Palm Beach, right off of Okeechobee Boulevard. When I first moved to Florida, I was like, all right, all roads lead to Okeechobee Boulevard. If I can just get myself to Okeechobee Boulevard, I can always find my way back home. And we're glad to be a part of Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach. And we have this beautiful Tree of Life Plaza, plenty of parking, plenty of space, 2,100 square feet of spiritual stuff. So candles, books, herbs, oils, crystals, bracelets, we've got it. Pop in, visit sarahspiritual.com, learn more about my center and more about the work that I do. We're going to go to our phone lines again, and if you're on Facebook, don't go anywhere. Leave your question in the feed, or pick up the phone and join the conversation if you don't want to just talk to me on Facebook or YouTube. But I've got to go to Hollandale, and I've got Joey on the line. Joey, how are you tonight?
Oh, Sarah, I got questions.
You got questions? Well, I think, I hear you. You got questions? I think I got answers, Joey.
Well, God's got me in a pickle, and I don't know how far he's going to bend me. Today, I went to do my gratitude list, and I said, you know what, God, I'm not grateful for anything today. I mean,
good Lord.
we have a very upfront. Financially, he's got me between a rock and a hard place, and I'm trying to stay upbeat. At the same time, I got sad memories. Like I said, at the beginning when I first met God, I said, God, you took my dad on my second birthday. Then you're taking my best friend in 1991. And I cried when I felt God was something separate. And that's how Joey became spiritual, because I started getting answers.
Well, that's how a lot of us become spiritual, right? When we feel that separation and then we seek answers and God starts giving them to us. But right now, I just feel like the squeeze financially. It's like I'm cleaning my credit in the way I'm cleaning it, but at the same time, I got no credit to spend. I don't know how much further. I worry every morning. Well, now we have to surrender the worry, right? Because we know that we'll be provided for. And I know you know that somewhere inside. But yes, the squeeze is real. Yes. And, you're speaking for a lot of people, right? We're all kind of wondering what's going to happen next. And as we clean our credit and we kind of maneuver that, we realize that at times we're living and are living, many of us can live beyond our means, right? Because that's just what we have to do to survive, or so we think, right? And there's a line in the Bible that says, neither a lender nor a borrower be. Well, obviously, they did not follow capitalism in the beautiful way that the world is run these days. But we see that there's a big liability in all of that. And I'm not just talking the financial liability. It drains our energy, because if we were grateful for what we had and we live with what we had and we kept things as simple as possible, which in today's world that does prove to be a struggle and a task, if we could find that ability, then we wouldn't be worrying about all the things we're worrying about, and we'd be in peace just knowing that everything is going to be all right. And, I always remember that, there's birds flying in the sky that don't know where their next little worm's coming from, and they're just singing around perfectly content, and we're freaking out as humans. So seriously, God has a sense of humor, because I would like to believe we're a little more intelligent than the average little bird, but I'm starting to wonder, because we have ourselves in a pickle. And I'm going to tell you that I think pickles are us in the United States of America. I think a lot of people are in that same pickle jar with you, or at least the jar next to you, Joey. So it's been a very challenging time. So
Okay.
I want you to embrace this. I want you to say, I don't know where or how, but something unique and unexpected financially is going to show up for me today. I don't know where, I don't know how, but something unique and unexpected is going to show up for me financially today. Now, you could put your hands in a pair of pants that you haven't worn in a while, and you could find $20, right? We don't know. You might go, Sarah, I've been through all my clothes. Maybe you have. But it was so strange. The other day I had this little wallet that I used when I went to this concert, and I had stuck some money inside the little zipper. And as I was cleaning out that little wallet and getting ready to put it back where I keep it, because I don't use it often, I was like, I almost forgot that I had the money inside. And then I said to myself, what a great surprise that would have been for me to find $35 of cash if I had left it there. And I was almost tempted to leave it there just because in a few days I'd forget I had it and then suddenly feel super rich the day I found it right before going to another event that required me to use this little wallet. But I did take it out, but I had that playful thought, right? Because I have done that, and I have found $20 somewhere, or $10 or $5. And, I mean, we might say in today's world, maybe that doesn't have the same impact that it might have 20 years ago, but it's still the flow of currency. So I am in alignment with the divine flow. The divine current comes to me easily. And as I release it, I always trust that the current will flow back to me. Right? You don't look at this wall and sit there and say, how does that electricity get to that socket? You just know it's going to flow.
Right.
And so we have to trust that. Now, that doesn't mean that as a human, you might not wake up and go, holy bananas, I think I'm in big trouble. How am I going to pay for this? Okay?
I wake up at 3 a.m.
in anxiousness and anxiety. Yes. Understood.
And then I put on a meditation to calm my mind down and to realize that, I play songs like I get paid to exist, I command, I am wealthy, and I feel good. I align with that energy, and I feel better. Then I go back down again. Then I have to lift myself back again. Oh.
Exactly.
And even this, I manifested my partner, too. That's another.
Okay. Great.
And he doesn't care what I make.
And that's a beautiful thing, you see. So I always find that sometimes God has this sense of like, oh, well, I know you want everything, but we might not give you everything all at once just to see how you're going to handle it. And it's all about the soul contract is learning to allow and trust the process. And I will tell you that when you are here to be of service, often you get some of the harder tests, right? And the harder tests are all about you just relying solely on the frequency of the universe and on God. And we're not trained that way from birth, right? And you were trained in a way to depend on your parents, and then you were trained that you got abandoned, which wasn't literal, but your father left because he left the planet, and you didn't have the father that you would have wanted to have in your life. So you already have a sense of lack ingrained in you. Because we view money as the only way we associate money is with like we either have or don't. So it's lack. But there are so many other forms of lack that we have, right? And so in some way you didn't have what you felt was your birthright, that you look to the right and you look to the left, and other people had their daddy, but you didn't have your daddy.
No.
And so
that
becomes
the best dress.
Right, but you can be the best dressed, but if something inside of you feels that you weren't worthy to have it all, then of course that's going to apply to some areas of your financial world, okay? So somewhere inside of you...
I totally understand what you're saying, even though I talk to my dad every day, and he communicates to me, he's never been reincarnated. I understand. I'm feeling the emotion that I do miss him.
Yeah, you do miss him, right.
You're showing me something that I need to see.
Right.
And
missing
maybe I
him,
can feel less lack.
Yes, it's a form of lack. When we miss someone, then it's the absence of them. But when we're truly in alignment, as we all choose to grow into that, right? Because it's not something that we remember. We were born that way, but then we lose that energy and then we need to remember it again. Is to be in the frequency of that we're always connected and nothing ever dies. No one ever dies.
No.
It is a continuum of time. But when we acknowledge the missing, the absence of, we automatically go into lack. That disconnects us from the frequency of the connection to all that is and all that ever will be. And therefore, we then become separate from the flow of the universe. And I feel if you can embrace the fact that he's always there, and in the recognizing that he's always there, there's no need to ever miss him. If you could balance that vibration up a bit, I bet your money would start to flow a little better too, because your dad would just be another example of the separation.
I'm Sarah, I'm seeing him right now, and he agrees with you 100%. I see him all the time since I was little.
Yeah. It's okay.
He never escapes me. And remember when I told you, he always liked his Cuban coffee, and before he knew he was going to die, 2 days before my birthday, on my second birthday, he said, I will spread Cuban coffee all over the world. And right now, whenever I see that, I see it as a sign of prosperity.
Right. So if you have
it's been easy to get it.
I know, but you have the signs, and we have to trust the signs, right? And even myself, Joey, if I question something, I'm like, okay, let me ask, and then they're like,
the only reason
keep going.
The only reason why, if he does that for you, is because he loves you. He loves anybody that helps me, and everybody that's connected to the family, and that's why I'm so grateful to you, Sarah. And I just send you my perfume. I remixed it. I sent you another one. I think of you all the time, believe it or not.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joey. And you know, you're an example of someone who's been calling in for many, many years, and we've all grown together. Even myself, as a radio show host,
yes, we have.
As a spiritual, whatever we want to call me, spiritual advisor. I don't even know what to call me anymore. But whatever I'm doing,
not even called a label anymore.
Yeah, it's no label.
Get rid of all labels. We're everything.
Yeah. It's a mission. I'm on a mission, and some days the mission's easier than others, but there's a mission, and we're all on a mission, and we all have a purpose, and we all have a soul contract. And, together, I just wish people would stop feeling so separate from each other. And I think that the 2020 nightmare created an even greater separation. But if people could just realize that we all are connected in spirit, whether people are here on earth or on the other side, we are all connected, then we would all be able to be of more support to each other. So embrace this abundance.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Embrace
the abundance.
Because the thing is that when I get a client, it's not just a client that needs a reading. Sometimes they need psychological help. And I'm there. I went 4 years in the University of Miami to learn how to apply that psychology and how to retrain my brain. Yeah. And that's what I help customers with. And my customers are not somebody that I can let go of in 30 minutes. I'm going to retrain their brain and shift their whole life.
Right. So
and sometimes I realize, well, maybe that's the reason why I don't get a client every day. I got to practice before, I get strong again. That's
yes, but also remember this. Remember this. If you are doing work that is of service to humanity, to individuals in their less than perfect moments, then the God you serve will never forsake you. So when you have your 3 a.m. wake-up call and you're like, okay, but remind yourself, the God I serve does not forsake me, so what do I worry for? I have no reason. I need to be at peace and go to sleep. And tell yourself, shut up and go to sleep. Okay? Sometimes we got to be tough with ourselves.
I need that.
Okay.
That's what I needed to hear. Okay. Because I worry about these people and I try to not connect psychologically, but it takes me a couple
not
hours.
Your job. But it's not your job to worry. It's not that I'm not concerned for everyone who calls here. It's not that I'm not concerned for the people I read, but I'm in their energy. I'm in, and then I'm out. Because if I took all of you home with me, and mind you, a lot of the stories can
Oh.
stay with me for a while, I would never sleep. You people would keep me up 24/7.
No.
So you disconnect.
Oh, I agree with you. What?
So you're going to disconnect
I
from
understand
the
why
sense of
psycho-
lack, okay? Sense of
Disconnect.
lack. We disconnect from that is no longer part of your energy, and you're going to move forward. For this minute, Joey,
No
we're
longer lack.
complete. All right? We are not in the energy of lack because we're always in alignment with all that is, and the God that you serve will never forsake you. All right, I bid you farewell for now, Joey. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. I know that your question and commentary spoke not just for you, but to many who are listening, so we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I agree.
Bye for now.
I agree. Thank you. Bye-bye.
866-972-7247. We've got to go to Pompano. I've got Whistleen on the line. Whistleen, how are you tonight? Good to connect with you.
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well, Whistleen. Good to make this connection again. I know that we have spoken. I recognize the name. And what is your question for us here tonight?
My question is this my season of letting things go? Things and people.
People, places, and things. Are we going to let them go? Well, let me tell you this. The first thing that I see here is that when we look at this energy, you would talk about letting go, and I'm going to talk to you about balance. My guides tell me that life in this triangle that you're in, because it seems like a bit of a triangle, there's a lot of interference here. We need to, that which we can be a part of, that which serves us, we hold on to. That which does not, we need to get balance and order in our life so that God can move you forward. There's a movement forward for you, Whistleen, that is meant to bring you into a different dynamic with people. And I feel that some of the people in your circle are not honoring you, and the word I'm hearing is being true to you. Does that resonate with you, Whistleen?
Yes.
And I also go back into the 2023 time, and they talk to me about 2023 being a time of challenge and change. Is that also true?
Yes.
And is some of the
big change.
Big change. And if some of the people that may be being in the box of, oh, I think I want to, make this be the season of letting them go, I feel like a lot of that journey started in 2023, and I feel like you are where you are because of choices you made. And even people that maybe even in 2023 we didn't step away from, we just let them be. And we cannot allow things that are not healthy for us. So to answer your question, as I said in Frozen, let it go. This is the time to step into your power, get things in order for you so that you can move forward with ease and grace without things falling apart, right? Because even though I know that you can stand on your own, I feel that there's some dysfunctional codependence, especially of one particular person. And we need to kind of cut that cord of negativity, that karmic entanglement, kind of like a trauma bond. I don't know. It's kind of a hot mess over there. We need to let it go. I want to break into Frozen and say, let it go, let it go. We're going to let it go, and we're going to move forward. And the perfect time for breaking up is hard to do, but we're going to make it real easy for you, is October. So, girl, get yourself together, because October's the time the door closes, and you need to be on the other side of the door, not trapped inside. Am I clear?
Yes.
All right. We're going to move on.
Now, my other question is, so where does that leave my marriage?
Well, that's up to you, isn't it? Where does it leave it?
Okay.
All right? You have to let go of everything you feel is not working for you any longer. And I'm going to tell you, the closer we get to October and November, the more obvious and the more of a push you're going to feel, so that by the time you get into the month of your birthday, you're like, oh no, I'm not starting another brand new circle around the sun with these crazy people. I'm stepping out. And that's going to be your little mentality. So knowing what I am advising you to do and knowing what Spirit is showing us is coming, you're going to prepare yourself accordingly. All right? And I will tell you this.
Okay.
Relationships and marriages, they go through their changes. If something's meant to be, there can be a separation, a break, but it'll always find its way back in the healthy way if it's meant to be. But in this moment, we need to let go of everything that's weighing you down because you're carrying everyone. Why is that? Why are we
I
carrying
don't know.
people?
I feel like I have to be there for everyone. And when I'm there for everyone, it's like I carry everybody's burden.
Understood, but that's not your job. And your sole contract in this experience is for you to be able to choose yourself and not view it as being selfish. You're not using the spirit of discernment. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated into doing work for people that they have to do their own work. They have to make their own journey. Again, we can offer someone a sandwich. We can give them some advice. We can hold their hand for a moment through a rough time. But you're coming up with the work for them, the solution for them, the preparatory experiences for them. You're doing it all. And they're just lapping it up and taking it in and riding their coattail riders. So you and your magic carpet cannot fly if you've got coattail riders. They are weighing you down and you're going to crash in the clouds. How's that for a visual? So we got to let it go before your magic carpet crashes. I don't want to see you upside down in a tree. That's not a pretty picture.
Right.
All right. I've got to go to commercial now, but thank you so much, Whistleen, for holding for us. We appreciate you're waiting for us to take your call, and we know you've been following the show, and we appreciate that loyalty as well. Thank you so much for listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. We bid you farewell for now. We'll talk soon.
No problem. Right. Bye-bye.
866-972-7247. We're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, don't go anywhere. I want to hear from you or pick up the phone. I'm sure we've got a phone line waiting for you. And when we come back, I got to go to Hillsborough when we come back. I don't know what's in Hillsborough, but I got someone in Hillsborough. I'm like, where the heck is Hillsborough? I don't know, but we're going to Hillsborough. So stay with us, everyone. We're going to take a minute to hear from our sponsors. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, and that is me, Sarah Spiritual. We'll be right back.
The way, oh, there's a light, there's a light, there's a light that opens doors for everyone. Oh, there's a light that touches her. Oh, there's a light. Oh, there's a light. Open up in everyone. Can you feel it? There's a light to change the world.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WDJA AM Delray Beach and in Martin County on 1450 WSTU Stewart. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel.
Hi, I'm Sarah Spiritual, the founder of the Expedito Enlightenment Center. I would love for you to visit me at my spiritual oasis located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard in the Tree of Life Plaza in West Palm Beach. Come, feel the energy, sample my spiritual sprays and oils, participate in one of my spiritual development classes, and have a personal reading with me, Sarah Spiritual. Let's see what Spirit has to say. You can call the Expedito Enlightenment Center at 561-682-0955. Not local? Visit me, Sarah Spiritual, at sarahspiritual.com for products, classes, and to book your personal session.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
This show is furnished by Sarah Spiritual.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome back to the next hour of Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, as we continue our uplifting and empowering spiritual discussion to transform your life. A gifted spiritual advisor, coach, and medium, Sarah Spiritual will assist you to connect to the light within and transcend beyond the limits of all experience and knowledge. We have another hour to listen and call in 866-9-SARAHs. That's 866-972-7247. And watch Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can share the love and light.
There's a land, Oh, there's a light that touches hearts. There's a light to open everyone to love. Help me hold the answer we are looking for. Love me open up another door of light. Oh, there's a light. Oh, there's a light.
Yes, indeed. There's a light right here on Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, all across the nation. And we're welcoming your phone calls at 866-972-7247. Before I go back to my phone lines, I got to spin it out to my friends on Facebook. I got them right here on the screen. I'm going to pop up the questions on the screen so I can answer some questions from my dear friends on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to see what we've got going on in our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And if you're not following me on Facebook and YouTube, go to Sarah Spiritual and also follow my Instagram page. We always have some really great spontaneous spirit renderings that happen in the morning. It's amazing. Spirit and I sit there with a cup of coffee and we just pop off all this great information for all of you. So follow my Instagram page, especially if you want some motivation or some perspective as to how to handle things such as worry, or find your inner happiness, or how to work with your angels, or manifest abundance. We've got all of that on Sarah Spiritual's Instagram page. All right, we've got Ariana Rose. And Ariana Rose, first, let's wish you a very happy birthday. It's coming up on Friday, so happy birthday to you. So she's asking about college adult boyfriend, and she gives me his birthday. Devastating breakup, and 34 years later, she still feels that deep connection and loss of my person. Can Spirit shed some light on this? You know what, Ariana Rose? You're not alone, because there are many people who are still mourning the loss of someone that they dated for a while, and it was just such a powerful connection way back when. And now we still haven't gotten over it, because we know that that was the soul connection that ideally we thought was meant to be. And you're mourning what was meant to be in some part of your life. It's just that both of you were not emotionally and spiritually mature enough to sustain and maintain it at that time. And so unfortunately the breakup happened. Spirit wants you to make peace with it and remind yourself that there is no end. And that even though it may have appeared to have ended in the early part of your life, it is a continuum of time, and remind yourself that the love itself never died. The personalities may have made it complicated, but the soul contract still continues, and that your souls shall meet again. And it's again like that song, do you know me? Do I know you? I think we met before. It's that feeling, that connection, that it never dies. It's not just about this lifetime. It's about you knew each other before and you'll see each other again. Make peace with it. I'm sure that it was a feeling of a piece of your heart will always be in love with that person. And that's okay. And allow yourself to feel that love, because you don't really understand why it had to end. And it was abrupt and uncomfortable. And maybe it triggered you into feeling not good enough or worthy at that moment. So if there's some wound there around your worth and deservability regarding love, then please remind yourself that you are worthy, and talk to your little young adult self and comfort her and see yourself as you wish that experience could have been, and see yourself feeling the joy of the love again, and feel that love and know that that love will never die, and let that love transcend time to lead you to this moment, and reassure your young girl that it wasn't her fault. It just was poor timing in the experience, but everything's part of God's plan. Thank you, Ariana Rose, for a very powerful question. I know many people experience exactly what you've asked, so we thank you for that, and it is a soul contract. Bye for now. We're going to take another question from our friends on Facebook and YouTube. And on Facebook, we have Ashley Farron, and she says, hey, any advice for my love life? Please help. So she's sending out the SOS. Well, Ashley, here's the beautiful thing about where you are right now. This is a time of shifts and changes for you, and I'm seeing a movement. And I'm feeling as if the love life is feeling challenged, if the relationship is at a challenge, it's a time for both of you to grow. If something has just abruptly come upon you in love and relationship, understand that there's a movement to get you to the next level. And I feel that in your love life, we have attracted people who have not shown up for you, Ashley, in the true fashion that you have shown up for them, and fully emotionally and supportive. And I feel like you've been the giver in a lot of your relationships. So honoring self and putting self together will be powerful. And as I move you through this year, my little powerful Gemini, I will tell you that as we come into the fall, love relationships and love connections will right themselves. There'll be a balance in them, and you are meant to have strong, loving relationships as we transmute the energy into the 2027 time. So if there's this relationship that's being problematic, you're going to see the truth in it in October and November, and then it will transmute to either be what it's meant to be or lead you right down the path to another person, which will be really in alignment with what is best for you. But hold the vision. I'd love to have a personal session with you, Ashley Farren, because I know there's a little complication in the backstory of all of this. So love to talk to you personally. Thank you so much for your Facebook question. Well, keep the Facebook questions and the YouTube questions coming. For this moment, I've got to go to Hillsborough. I'm not even sure I know where Hillsborough is. So we've got Nat from Hillsborough. Nat, how are you tonight? Are you there, Nat?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. Thank you so much. So where's Hillsborough?
It's on the west side of Tampa area.
Oh, so we're in Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are on a journey, and you too are ready for change. And you have to be ready for twists and turns that are unexpected. And I am sure from what I see in the energy, Nat, that you thought things were going to play out a certain way, and then poof, they're not playing out the way you thought they were. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And so we have some universal surprises coming down the line that are meant to put you on track. And it's important that you don't underestimate yourself, and you also don't jump at the first thing that feels right if it doesn't feel like it's exactly what you want. It's very important.
Agreed.
So, what is your questioning for us here this evening?
Where do you foresee my business taking off as far as my career is concerned?
Well, we have two vibrations here. We have work and career, and then we have your business. Yeah. Is that correct? So correct. When I look at your work career, I feel that this will be settled in the next 30 to 45 days. We will have an idea of where we're going, or we'll be heading in that direction for new work. So there's new work coming for you.
Okay. Awesome.
Choices, right? So there is a new opportunity that has presented itself on the horizon, and this new opportunity will give you some insight as to what they have to offer in the next few days. Based on that information that they offer you and the sense and the feeling, you'll see if it's a good vibrational fit. We, of course, always have some things that are out there for you that are still possibilities, right? We have not heard back from everybody that you've interviewed with, correct?
Correct.
And do we also have, as I see, did we close the door on the opportunity that was in a totally different state? The one that was timing was off. Yes. Did we close that door officially?
We did.
Okay.
Officially closed.
So when one door closes, guess what happens? Another door opens. And isn't that what just happened? Yes, indeed. Absolutely. There's a whole nother opportunity coming down the mountain. So now let's move on to your business, shall we? So you have created a beautiful connection and networking to promote yourself in your business. And I see that your business is not going to just grow in numbers in the energy of social media, but I see it's actually going to grow in numbers and connections with people. and abundance. Now, we have to find that balance, right? We have a business, we're an entrepreneur. We're going to get further into the specifics of that in a moment. But then we also have the job, the job, the career, the thing we've got to show up for, because she works hard for the money. And yes, we will sing the song for you. So as you work hard for the money, you also are building a brand and a business. And as you build the brand and the business, you've got to find the opportunity to do both for a while, which could be a little stretching you a little thin, but you can do it. You've done this before. It's time for you to build both at the same time so we can satisfy our financial obligations and allow ourselves to be on a strong foundation so that when we make the jump to our business, we are on strong foundation. We have enough clients and patients to sustain the business and word of mouth to build the brand so that we never have to sit there and wonder, oh, what's going on today, right? Like we heard Joey talk about, he talks to people and he helps people and, but he doesn't always get people every day or enough people, right? So we don't want to be in that position. Unless that's what's meant to happen, but that's not what I see happens, right? So we are meant to be on the path of growth. Now, Nat, be so kind, and you're on national radio, be so kind to tell everybody, because I know, but they don't know, what your business is.
I am, it's called Be Kind Wellness. It's a health platform where we're starting a concierge service. We do urgent care. We also do weight loss. And there's also preventative medicine and community awareness as well. So we're getting ourselves out there. We're growing.
You're growing, and it provides education, opportunity to have one-on-one concierge service, helps people in this wonderful journey of weight loss so that they can find their rhythm and have perfect health. And also you're helping them navigate some of the challenges that they may be having so they can stay ahead of the curve so it doesn't result in an illness, so we can stay there. And so do tell people where and how they can find you.
You can follow me on Facebook at Be Kind Wellness 1 or on my Instagram, Be Kind Wellness.
Okay, so Be Kind Wellness 1.
Like B, like the B-E, B-E-E, Kind Wellness. Like the B,
right? One, and then Be Kind Wellness on Instagram. Perfect.
On Instagram, yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure. And you will be. You meet with people one-on-one remotely. Is that correct?
Yes, we do urgent care visits. We also do weight loss consultations, which is free for the first one. We help navigate perimenopausal. That's such a challenging time frame for a lot of women with the abdominal fat and balancing hormones. So we help do that too. And we also offer peptides as well.
Beautiful. All right. Well, all of those things sound like things that are, in great demand. So good to know that you're right for the times. So we wish you much success for Be Kind Wellness. And follow Nat on Facebook and on Instagram. We thank you so much for your question. I know you're balancing quite a bit at this moment. And, it's a possibility that you may make a move too. So be prepared for anything. And good thing your business is virtual because you can go anywhere. So just be ready to pack on a moment's notice and go with the flow because business opportunities are there, but there's also a new job coming. All right, my dear. Thank you so much, Nat, for your question. We appreciate your following the show. Bye for now.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. 866-972-7247. I've got to go to Madeline, and I have Madeline in Jupiter. Madeline, thank you so much for holding. So good to connect with you, Madeline. How can I assist you tonight?
Thank you so much. I first have to say that every time I listen to you, I connect with you in so many ways.
I appreciate that.
You really provide great spiritual growth for me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I appreciate your kind words. And how can we serve you tonight?
Well, in the past, I've asked you about being a widow, about men, about some property I'm going to sell, and you've been right on.
Great.
But my concern now is that I have a 33-year-old granddaughter who was diagnosed with lupus when she was 14. And she is now in stage 5 kidney failure and just started dialysis. And she is now on the transplant list.
Oh, no.
And I'm just hoping for some good news from you.
Okay, great. Can I have her birthday, please?
Yes, her birth date is April 25th, 1993. Taylor.
All right. So, first of all, have you all heard of you can tell I've been hanging out in Florida for a while now, even though I'm from New York, but have you all heard about the medical medium? Are you familiar with this?
I am not.
Okay, there is a gentleman by the name of New York Times bestseller, Anthony Williams, known as the medical medium. Now, we believe that food can be a great healing factor. Now, I understand she's on the kidney list, and I'm most certainly not saying that we're going to do things that are going to be different than what a doctor would suggest, right? But there are certain things that we can do to get the body in better balance, right? And I've known many people who followed the medical medium and followed his protocol. It had to do with a lot with juicing and celery and such, that they were able to reverse things. And so it's very good reading and very great information. So he has his book, The Medical Medium. He has his Liver Rescue book. He has his Cleanse to Heal book. He has his Brain book. He has all different types of books. And I'm sure there's a segment that's dedicated. I don't know which book has it in it, but you can research him, watch some of his videos, and why not, even if this is not the complete cure-all because of the status as to where she is at this moment with this disease, this malaise in the physical body, perhaps it can make things more comfortable and easier. And then maybe while we're waiting, not make it feel so like, oh my goodness, at any minute the other shoe's going to drop, right? Because he has a lot of beliefs around, and I'm not a doctor. You know, we just had Nat on the phone, and she's a doctor. She's a nurse practitioner, so she most certainly could weigh in on this as well and Be Kind Wellness. But when we are in this energy that our body is out of balance, right, and something such as a chronic disease, something that is a lupus or an Epstein-Barr, there's a root to all of that, right? And there's a root that is usually rooted in some type of parasitic environment, rooted in some type of viral environment. He does claim that a lot of things trace back to a form of the Epstein-Barr, which most humans carry within them, whether they had mono or not, and it becomes the precursor to a lot of the things that happen later on in life. He also has a book on thyroid and managing your thyroid. So there's so much that he offers for us that I think would be valuable information. Now, when I look at where she is in this journey, you know, I know that this year, and actually I want to go back in time if I may. So when I go back in time, I feel like 2023 into 24 was like the beginning of a lot of difficult times with her health. It's like a lot of it came to a head. Is that true?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And so when I look at this, you know, do I feel like there's a kidney for her if that's the path we absolutely have to take? Yes, I do. Do I feel like her being on the list is going to be a forever journey? No, I don't. And I also want you all to say that Taylor's always in the perfect place at the perfect time, doing the perfect thing. This way, the perfect match will show up for her, right? This is how we manifest in the energy, so we can find that match if that's the journey we have to take. But in the meantime, we can see her whole and healthy. We see every cell in her body restored to its original perfection. The divine energy has the power to transmute and transcend every cell and restore her to health. Now, we know that in the physical body, when it's been out of alignment for a long period of time, we have these results, such as something as a kidney failure. We have many other results with other people, and we know that it is something that perhaps has to be addressed now in the physical because of how far it's gone. But she needs to see herself healthy and whole, filled with light. She needs to see her kidneys functioning, filled with light. Have her pull up a picture on the computer of what her insides look like and the picture of her kidneys, and then close her eyes and see light coming through the top of her head, filling her body, illuminating her with light, and having the filtration system of the kidneys functioning in its original perfected state, and therefore she is healed. Now, I know someone might be listening and they'll be like, oh my God, Sarah Spiritualist sounds like a bunch of hogwash. But this is where we need to change our training.
I'm with you.
Right. We need to change our human training, right? And our human training says that we don't have the power to heal. But our spirit already has the power to heal because everything we ever needed is already in our bodies. Everything we already need is in perfect alignment. It is our emotions, it is our environment, it is many things that have taken us out of alignment. And therefore, we of the spirit have to work actively to restore that original perfection. So we invite you to do this. We invite you to learn about the medical medium and take a look at some of his protocols, specifically for the kidneys, and see what we can do. You know, it's a bit of a lifestyle change, but at this point, what has she got to lose? Absolutely nothing. And I can assure you, a glass of celery juice is not going to hurt anybody, right? So, and it has those essential minerals and natural salts that the body needs to restore. You see, most humans do not have enough salt in their body, even though they tell us not to have salt, but they mean the bleach salt. Most of us don't have enough hydration in our bodies because we're drinking water, but we need the hydration from our fruits and our vegetables, and we need that in our body so our body can function. So many of us have become dehydrated. There's quite a bit that's going on, right? So, and whatever the precursor was that originated within her that started this journey of lupus, you know, we may not ever know the root for her, but we most certainly can minimize the symptoms and get her in a better balance in her life. And I can tell you that where she is now is to be in her personal power and to practice self-care and self-love. So no better time for her to heal. I hope this gives you some insight and some ability to transform this situation into a positive outcome.
Thank you so much, as always. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Sarah.
My pleasure. God bless you, Madeline. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
866-972-7247. I've got to go to Port St. Lucie. From Jupiter to Port St. Lucie, I have to go to Jennifer. And Jennifer in Port St. Lucie, how are you tonight?
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to connect with you again. Thank you so much for your call. And how can we assist you tonight?
I'm just checking in to see what my spirit guide has to say for me. I'm in a situation, I'm in a mess, and I want to know if this is going to be my breaking point, and where do I go from here?
We're in a situation, we're in a mess, and the situation in the mess is one of a personal nature. Is that correct?
Yes.
But also this personal nature of this mess, this circle that we're making here, is showing me that it's also spiraling out into your finances as well. Is that also true?
Yes.
And we are at the breaking point. We do need to make a change. And I don't feel like you're getting the assistance and the help that you may need to make a change. This year is supposed to create a better rhythm for you, as they show me. But I feel like this is something that should have been handled 3 years ago. Is that correct?
Possibly, yes. You're right. Yes, you're right.
Okay. All right.
Yes, you're right.
So whatever needed to be handled or addressed 3 years ago, we wouldn't be where we are now had we done that then.
I'm getting ready to move forward and that.
Okay. So stop making excuses for people, Jennifer. Stop. Honor yourself. You don't owe anybody anything. All right? You worked hard to get yourself to where you are and to create the life that you had. And it is not for you to allow other people to siphon off of your energy. Because that's what I see. Someone siphoning off of your energy. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Oh, Neil Sedaka said breaking up is hard to do, but not in this case, honey. We're done.
No.
Okay? This is I guess I'm going to be talking about breakups a lot this year because it's all exploding. Ain't nobody going to be together because poof, it's ended. So I need you to do whatever you have to do to change the storyline and make it clear to the person and parties around you that this is Jennifer's new life and they're not a part of it. Let's go back. Miss Jennifer, let's go back to 2010. Miss Jennifer, let's go back to 2012. Yes, Jennifer. Let's go back and think of what you had to extricate yourself from then. And why are we here again?
That's the question.
That's the question. But tonight's class, I was going to say, but okay, radio show's a class. Tonight's radio show is about soul contracts. So you're attracting people that you have these contracts where you feel obligated in some way. And you keep hoping that they'll do their part. Well, surprise, they're not. So now, my dear, you have to ask to be relieved of this soul contract. You want to cut the karmic cords that bind you to these experiences. And you need to step into your power. Step into your rhythm. You need to tell yourself it's okay to choose Jennifer first. And if other people need to boo-hoo, it's not your problem. Because you need to move forward in your life. And these may sound like strong words, but because we can go back to something that is, 13 years ago. And here we are 13 years later in a similar situation. And don't feel alone in this, honey, because I don't know. There's a lot of stuff popping up for everybody from 13 years ago. So things are coming up because maybe we learned part of the lesson. There's a little more to learn. And God's like, let's make sure the boys and girls on earth have learned these lessons before we move them to the next level. So for you to really enjoy the bountiful blessings that you have and really reside in the gratitude that I know you strive to do, we must release the things that weigh you down. Surrender it to God and have God give you the words and the actions to remove the obstacles so that you can live your best life.
As a matter of fact, I did that, and I'm starting this week. I started to get some information to move forward because this is weighing me down big time.
I know it is, and it's robbing you of your joy, and it's actually preventing some of the really cool things I see coming. And I sure would hate for you to miss the boat. And you're like, you're on like the deserted island, and the rest of us are all off to the fun island. So I don't want you sitting on your little island by yourself. Are you fasting? Did you decide to do a fast? Have you fasted?
I'm trying to do it. I need to do that, as a matter of fact. And it came up to my spirit that I need to do fasting. I need to do some cleansing, both spiritual and I need to do a deep cleansing.
Well,
Fasting, cleansing.
I know a girl named Sarah Spiritual who can just whip you up a cleansing bath that'll turn you around, honey. So I think it's time that from Port St. Lucie, you come on down to West Palm Beach and you pick something up. And let's turn the beat around. Let's go, honey. It is time. Time to make a change.
Okay.
And give yourself permission to move forward. I don't know why you feel like you have to stay stuck with people. But listen, not on my watch. That's not happening. So we're going to let this go. I don't know, I think I'm going to have to record this speech because I think I'm going to be saying it a lot this year, right? So I have a whole day of saying similar things to people. So if that's any indication of the fall we're going to have, I better be drinking chamomile tea because I'm going to need to calm myself down. All right, Jennifer, just bringing a little humor here to this whole very sticky mess. I understand it's very heavy. It's weighing you down and problematic. Give us a call. Let us know when you're heading down. I'll definitely whip you something up to clear your auric field, and we'll keep it moving. All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for your call. We appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye for now. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
866-972-7247. I got to take a minute to hear from my sponsors. And then when I come back, I still got to pop around. I'm going to hang out in Florida for a while. And then I got callers outside of sunny Florida. So stay with us, everyone. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. That's me, Sarah Spiritual. We'll be right back.
Do I know you? Have we met before? I've been standing in the room before I walk.
Stay tuned for more Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, coming up right after the break. Continue the conversation with Sarah Spiritual on Facebook and YouTube. The phone lines are open too. 866-9-SARAHS. That's 866-972-7247.
Come visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center for an extensive array of spiritual products, crystals, books, classes, readings, and healing services in a beautiful spiritual oasis. You must visit the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Come feel the energy and explore our unique products. Arrange for your own personal spiritual reading with Sarah Spiritual for spiritual insight. The Expedito Enlightenment Center is located at 4047 Okeechobee Boulevard, Suite 129 in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955. Visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com. That's EXPEDITO enlightenmentcenter.com for yourself. Or for a thoughtful gift, there's no better place to visit than the Expedito Enlightenment Center in West Palm Beach. Call 561-682-0955 or visit online at expeditoenlightenmentcenter.com.
Sarah Spiritual is a gifted spiritual advisor and medium. She can connect you with your loved ones, your spirit guides, and ascended beings. Sarah specializes in love, relationships, money, career, health, and healing. She has an uncanny ability to convey the true thoughts and emotions of those around you. Just call 561-682-0956 for your personal reading. Life is a spiritual journey, and each situation has a spiritual solution. Just contact Sarah for a personal reading today. 561-682-0956. 561-682-0956. Or visit sarahspiritual.com. Or that number one more time, 561-682-0956. Let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit raise you up.
Listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, your spiritual advisor and medium. Connect with Sarah Spiritual and be in the energy of light. Call right now, Sarah Spiritual at 866-9-SARAHS. That's toll free, 866-972-7247. Just ask your questions or message Sarah Spiritual live on Facebook and YouTube.
And we're welcoming your phone calls at 866-972-7247. If you've got a question and maybe you want to go into a little bit more detail, go to sarahspiritual.com. That's where you'll learn about the different sessions that I offer so that I can assist you on your journey. I do so many different types of sessions, and we also help people become more spiritually connected. If you'd like to be mentored by me, that is also on my website. So if you want to explore your spiritual gifts and perhaps build it into something, we have our mentoring session as well. We're going to go back to our phone lines, and I have to go to Stephanie, and Stephanie is in Delray. Stephanie, how are you tonight? Are you with us, Stephanie?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for your call. Good to make this connection with you.
Thank you for answering.
My pleasure,
Thank
Stephanie.
you for answering.
And yes,
go
ahead.
I love you. I spoke to you once before.
Yes.
So I'm not a first-time caller, but I was a hot mess, and it wasn't. I shouldn't have called you. I shouldn't have bothered you that night. But I'm better in a better place today.
Okay.
And but last time I spoke, just as we said our goodbyes, and I was signing off, you kind of hollered out, you need to surrender, and that has that's been rattling around in my mind since you said that, and I was just wondering if you could maybe give me a little guidance on what you meant by that and where I should be headed to get that accomplished.
Well, you're a great problem solver. I mean, or you try to be, and you take on a little too much. And, I feel as if at times you feel like you're in it alone. Does that make sense to you? Does that resonate with you?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Because as I was saying that to you, what song I was hearing in my little head? And the cheese stands alone, the cheese stands alone. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the cheese stands alone. Okay.
The cheese stands alone.
Yeah, well, there you are, right? And, I think maybe we're going to start to say this show's Spiritually Speaking with Sarah, the Hot Mess Central, because that's what we're all calling for, right? Because in one way or another, we are in Hot Mess Central. And, the things you cannot solve, I don't remember our exact conversation or what Spirit referred to exactly. However, I remember the feeling they gave me. And the feeling they gave me when we spoke was that you had so much on you, that the burden was so heavy that it was as if you were about to collapse and you couldn't take one more. And it's as if, I always think of, when I connect, I always connect to the Ascended Masters and teachers, and I think of Master Jesus. And when he said, Father, I can bear no more. Well, you were there. And the world as you thought you knew it and the people as you thought they were proving not to be what it was. And it's just one more thing that was ready to tip over, right? And so Spirit wanted you to surrender because you were trying to stay on top of everything and fix everything, which is impossible. And if you were listening to the beginning of the show, I was talking about my journey with my spirit guides and how sometimes, they're like, oh my God, she's like so special, we're going to just joke her. But, they have their moments with me, right? And yeah, they're just some days, they're just like, oh, good God, just let her be for a minute because she's going to make us bananas. But when I have these crazy harebrained schemes and ideas that I have, and I'm like, oh, what should I do? And they're like, oh, Lord, you're going to try to pull that off? And it's this thing where in the beginning, I didn't know how to ask for help. And not only did I not know how to ask for help from people, but I didn't know how to ask for help from the spirit world because I didn't really understand how they could help me. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I want people to realize that even though we feel alone and separate, there's, when I look around, and I look around you, there's like all these little faces around you of guides and angels and loved ones, and they're just right there, embedded in the energy right above you. And they're there. And they're there to give you that sign or that prompting or that sense of I'm okay even though I don't feel okay. Somehow I know I'm okay. They're there for that. And then as you build that relationship with them, then all of that becomes that much stronger, right? And that's how I connect, right? They give me the information, and sometimes I go, what? But then they'd like, shut up and just say what we tell you. And I'm like, okay, I just say what you tell me. So once you feel that connection, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to just do what I feel, even though I don't really understand all the aspects of it, because you have to understand
very true.
everything. You're very
they prod me.
analytical. Yeah, you're very analytical, right? And things have to balance out for you. And I'm going to tell you, some things that the universe will guide you, your guides and angels will show you, they don't make sense. And the reason why they don't make sense is because you're not meant to know the end of the story or the next segment. You're just supposed to trust this moment. And so surrender and trust go hand in hand for you. And when you learn to surrender and trust, then things become easier. And then even if we're still in the midst of a hot mess and you're like, oh my God, when is this going to end? You can almost see the reason why it happened. You can understand what you're gaining from it. You can also see that, all right, it's moving slowly and I'm not happy with that, but I know I'm going to get through to the other side, because even though you don't see how, there's a sense of knowing. And when I talked to you last, you had lost that hope of knowing. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Stephanie, is your
because I used to be able, I don't know if it's because my pineal gland is all calcified now or what, but I used to be able to hear better and feel them better. And it's, sometimes I feel like they've left me, but I know they haven't.
Correct.
And I know they hear me, and I know they give me everything I need when I need it. And and I have grown a lot this year in trusting that.
And
so
let me give you...
I do feel better about that.
And you should. And let me give you some insight, and I'll clue you in and everyone listening. So when 2020 happened, whatever that story was, and we all were in this state of confusion and fear, right? I literally felt the spirit world, particularly our loved ones, pull back. It was the strangest feeling. And I was like, uh-oh, they're not here anymore. And I was like, all right, but that's impossible because they have to be here. That's their job. Like, what's happening? And I could feel the separation. It was that there was so much energy of density around us. It was like there was a thick layer of clouds. In other words, it's like when you see the ceiling of clouds, but they're kind of dark and ominous, but you can't really see through them. It was that energy. And on the other side, of course, they are there, but they had to separate themselves because there was so much fear, which is not of God, and there was so much manipulation going on at the time because it became a very heavy time and nobody knew who to believe, what to trust, who was right, who was wrong. We were all divided within ourselves and from each other, either physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that they were like, oh, humanity's got to go through this now, and we're going to just hands off. And then when they really get in super hot mess, then we're going to dive in and straighten some things out, but they've got to figure this out. And how they connect to us now, because we have gone through this shift of consciousness as we are transitioning from, you hear people talk about 3D and 5D. I don't know the whole story behind it, but based on what my spirit guides have showed me, as we make this ascension, this acceleration process, how we see them, how we feel them, how we hear them has changed. And it is forever changed, okay? So it's not going to be the same. Right. So even I, who do this daily, every day, nonstop, from noon to 9, every day, I will tell you that it's not the same. And at first, for me, that was like, oh, okay, how am I going to do my job? It doesn't feel right. So of course, for the average bear, who's just trying to navigate life and go through our things, and you don't focus on connecting every day, it really feels very scary. So you were right to say to yourself, I feel separate. Could the pineal gland become a little hardened? Yes, but there are ways to flush that out and to open that back up. There are stories that is part of the process of the battle between the ascension process and those on the earth that wish to keep people kind of rooted and enslaved in the matrix. Okay, we can go down that rabbit hole one day, but you can change it. You have the power to change it, and they haven't left you. And I have a woman above you. Stephanie, did Mom pass? Because I have a woman who feels like a mother figure to you. Is Mom on the other side, please?
Yes, tell her
Yes.
I said hi.
Yes. And so when I
Yes,
first
that's my
connected
mom.
with you, I wrote your mom down, right? I said mom here on my paper because that gave me that indication. And then she was one of the little faces that I saw. I'm like, oh my goodness, her mom's here. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
You just
Oh,
feel them
she's always
differently.
here.
All right. And just trust this process and know that you've made great strides. And when we take you into next year, the end of this year into 2027, which I can't even believe I have to talk about this year of 2027, but it's a very, I don't know, vivacious, creative, freeing energy of movement and change and really seeing things through a different lens and living life a little differently. So if you've been saying to yourself, I'm feeling a little stuck, I need to change some things, I need to be in a more of a creative juice, I need to be more playful, all these things that may have crossed your mind, do not dismiss them, honey. Give them the energy that they deserve and begin to incorporate them in your day-to-day life. And every moment find something to be joyful for. And that'll alleviate the angst that's still hovering around you and bubbling up from within. Does that assist you?
It is hard to shake it.
It is hard.
It's
And the
so
world
hard to shake that angst.
the world is just
But
really
I-
pushing for that, right? So everything is here to trigger us, and then it's for us to learn our power. This is why you, me, and all of the people that listen to the show and many of the people on the planet specifically chose to reincarnate in this lifetime so that we could master the illusion of the world and realize that the power within and the divine supreme presence is stronger than any physical manifestation and illusion appears to be. And not to give in to the fear.
That's deep. Yeah.
And so,
fear.
Yes.
You know what COVID did teach me about fear is I was working at a church at the time and working at a school, and the question of the vaccination came up, and I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put something in my body that they just came up with. And so that was okay for a little while, and then my boss at the church said, you may not be able to work here if you don't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And I looked right at her, and she was the preacher's wife, and I said, I'm so sorry, but I choose faith over fear. I am not doing that. And I will miss you very much, but I will not do that. I'm going to be faithful, and I'm not going to be fearful. And I never heard another word about it. But it did give me a sense of, you know what? You can stand up for what you believe, and at a time when people are going to tell you you're crazy and that's not the right choice to make.
Right.
And later on, you find out, oh, you know what? I wasn't so silly after all. That was a good choice, and I'm glad I didn't take the jab.
As we move forward, we're going to find that period of time was one of the greatest atrocities to humanity. We're going to find that.
Yeah.
And again, we all chose to be a part of it. It was our soul contract. And it was for each of us to be true to ourselves. And there are others who their choice had to be different than yours because that was their soul contract. It wasn't about fear. It was about that was just what they knew they had to do for themselves. It's like sometimes people ask me, why people have to be in like a particular type of a religion that perhaps is, very rigid. And I'm like, well, because that's what their soul needs in this lifetime. Perhaps in another lifetime, they were much more free-spirited about spirituality, or perhaps they didn't do right in spirituality and they misused some of their inner gifts. And now they need to kind of walk that straight and narrow so that they can feel secure because their soul is not as strong in that area. So everything happens for a reason. And for each person, everybody's choice was exactly the perfect choice for them based on what their soul contract was and is, and they're meant to experience as we progress in this storyline. So it's a very interesting dynamic that we are in because of that situation.
Oh, I agree. All right, can I ask you one personal question before we go? Because I don't want. I know I can't take up all your day.
Very quickly, because we are getting ready to end the show, actually.
Quickly,
so, yes.
Very quickly. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my mother will nod or she'll shake her head. But am I going to hear from George? Ever? Am I ever going to hear from George?
I have an answer on my paper, but what is his birthday?
January 19th, 1959.
Okay. So we have the answer of no. Okay.
I'm not going to hear from him.
George is caught up in George. Okay. And George, if he were to pop up, is not going to pop up with anything significant. Okay, so as you were asking the question, before you even finished the question, before we even got to George's name, I have on my paper new. Okay.
No.
Very self-centered
Right.
person, not an equal vibrational match. Let it go.
Oh, that's so sad.
I understand.
He was my first true love, and I bit the bullet, and I wrote him a letter, and I puked all over the paper, and I was that's okay. I knew it could go either way. I'm just sad that he said he would respond, and he has not responded. And I gave him an out, and I was hoping he would just take the out. If he's not going to respond, then why say he will?
Yeah, but that was a while ago, correct?
It's been 4 months.
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of thinking he's got to do, right? So, but here's the best part of this story. So this is the part I love, Stephanie. You had an open heart, and you expressed your truth and your love. And whenever we do that, we are never making a wrong move. Whether it falls on deaf ears or someone who's too cold to receive it, you're not responsible for that. You were true to yourself, and you were expressing love from the soul. And if your souls are not meant to connect in this lifetime, then you'll catch him in another. And hopefully he'll be with the program.
See, that's what I told him. I said, listen, at least I tried, and my head is lighter. I'll love you always, and I'll see you on the other side.
Perfect.
And he could have just said, okay, thank you, but he didn't.
Well,
so
then
now
that's his choice.
And now I'm stuck back in that limbo of,
No, you're not.
Do I reach out again?
No,
well,
we are done.
I don't know if I should send them the skeleton tapping their fingers.
No, you will do nothing. Do nothing. In the moment of now, all is well. And the universe, what's meant for you, will never pass you by, and thou shalt not chase that which is meant to be yours. I've got to go. Bye for now. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. You're listening to Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. We're so glad that you've been with us this Wednesday evening. Good night. God bless you. And I am Sarah Spiritual.
There's a light leading the way. Oh, there's a light. There's a light. There's a light that opens doors for everyone. Oh, there's a light that touches hearts. There's a light to open every.
This has been Spiritually Speaking with Sarah. You can hear and speak with Sarah Spiritual every Wednesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Each week, Sarah Spiritual and Spirit answer your most important questions as you navigate through life. Listen and call in next week and let Sarah Spiritual and Spirit guide you. If you didn't have a chance to speak with Sarah Spiritual tonight, visit Sarah at sarahspiritual.com. You can message Sarah Spiritual at Facebook and follow her on Instagram. Tune in every Wednesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. with more from Spiritually Speaking with Sarah.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
WDJA AM Delray Beach.